we are going to have the reading of the law as we do in all the Israel of God locations, okay? And after that, we'll dive into today's lesson. We'll be going to Exodus 20 for the reading of the law, Ecclesiastes 12, and Revelations 22. Exodus 21, my brother. Go ahead and read it.
And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
Thank you, brother. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and read those last two verses.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
Thank you, my brother. Okay, let's go to Revelation chapter 22 and start at verse 12, brother.
And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. For without are dogs, and sorcerers, and whoremongers, and murderers, and idolaters, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie.
One more verse, brother.
I, Jesus, have sent mine angels to testify unto you these things in the churches.
Yes.
I am the root and offspring of David, and the bright and morning star.
Thank you, my brother. And as we do in all occasions, as I stated earlier, we always read the law because that's your key to salvation. Even though a lot of people say you don't have to do it, we got all this red lettering that we just read, and it says, I, Jesus. Okay? So let me start by saying to all of us here in this room today and to our people that's watching, good morning. Good morning. I want to say welcome home to the Israel of God Bible study class where we teach the Bible by subject and by title. My name is Brother James, for those that don't know me, and reading for us today is our brother Michael, okay? So look, brothers and sisters, for most of us in this room, when we found the true word of God, our conversation changed, okay? Our actions changed. Our views on society changed. And so once you start walking different and talking different, then what happens? People start listening to you closer and they start watching you harder. Do y'all know why they do that? They want to see if you're going to walk it like you talking it. Huh? Don't they? They gonna see if you saying something that you're not doing. That's what they're looking for. All right. So that is the question. Are you doing what you're talking about? Does your action match your conversation? And that's why we titled today's lesson, Practice What You Preach. Practice what you preach. Are you doing that? Because if you're not, you're the one looking like a comedy show. And ain't nobody going to come deal with your God if you running your mouth about him, but you not doing anything. Huh? Who want to deal with your God? Who's that weak in your eyesight each week? Because you bumping your gums, but you're doing something else. Today's lesson is a simple lesson. It's real easy. And it's just a reminder for most of us. I did this lesson about 2.5 years ago when we were still meeting downtown Oakland. Might be somebody in there that was there that day, huh? So every about 2.5, 3 years, the lesson come back up on you. So some of you were there. And today you're going to hear something that you didn't hear that first time. Because, you know, this Bible is alive. This is living word is what Jesus say. You can read a verse 40 times, and that 41st time, one word jump off the page at you. But that's how it is. So we're going to do this lesson today, and we are going to start the lesson in Luke chapter 11. Luke 11, in practice what you preach. Practice what you preach. Luke 11, my brother. And if I go too fast, raise your hand. If I go too fast, just raise your hand. Because sometimes I get told, brother, you went too fast, man. So I'm going to try today to wait until I hear the pages stop turning, okay? Luke 11, my brother. Let's pick it up at verse 43. Luke 11 and 43. Go ahead and read it.
Woe unto you, Pharisees, for you love the uppermost seats in the synagogues and greetings in the markets. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites.
What do you call them?
Hypocrites.
You hypocrites. Go ahead, brother.
For ye are as graves which appear not, and the men that walk over them are not aware of them.
Go ahead.
Then answered one of the lawyers and said unto him, Master, thus saying thou reproachest us also? And he said, Woe unto you also, you lawyers, for you laid men with burdens grievous to be borne, and you yourselves touch not the burdens with one of your fingers.
Y'all see that, brothers and sisters? So you give out all this work to people and you tell them do this, do that, but you won't lay one finger to the work yourself. Jeez. That's a hypocrite, huh?
Yes, it is.
You telling people to do something you don't do. And we're going to read later in this lesson. Let's go to Matthew 23, that we're supposed to be examples to the flock. That's why I'm on one of the cleanup crews here. Okay? I get my turn every 3 weeks or so. Okay? Because I have to be a good example in every form and fashion in here. And all of us supposed to feel like we're supposed to be examples to everybody in here. Everybody should have that mindset in here. Okay? Matthew 23, my brother, let's pick it up at verse 1. 23 and verse 1. Go ahead and read it.
Then spake Jesus to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, The scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat.
Okay.
All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe.
He said, whatever they tell you to do, you go ahead and do that. However, go ahead, brother.
But do not ye after their works, for they say and do not.
He said, but don't do what they do, because they'll tell you, yeah, you supposed to do this. Yeah, you can't do this, but then they're doing it and not doing stuff, okay? He say, if they say it, that's cool, but don't look after them and follow their behavior. But that's a hard task to tell somebody, because we are visual creatures, huh? The Lord ain't saying nothing wrong, but the brothers in this position, these are the holy guys, the holy cats, and everybody's watching them, and people are going to really do what they do, really. You're not supposed to, Because you got to work out your own salvation. So shame on you if you're trying to blame somebody else. You did that because you did that. You didn't do that because you just didn't do it. You got to work out your own salvation. Because when you go eyeball to eyeball with your God, who you going to blame? Who can you blame? I'm going to definitely make sure and try my best to make sure my name can't come out your mouth. Because I'm going to tell you what you're supposed to do and what you should not do. And after that, my hands clean. Because in Ezekiel, the Lord told us to warn. He said, warn the people from me. We're talking about himself. So if I don't warn you, then your blood is on you, but it's on me too. So I'm going to tell you what this say right here. And then I'm going to show you by doing it myself. Okay? I'm going to show you that. Because I asked y'all when we were in Hayward, how many of y'all showed up today expecting not to see me? How many of y'all showed up? You didn't expect to see me today, Sister? You expected to see me in here. I'm going to be here unless I'm somewhere else teaching or unless I'm incapacitated. Why is that? Because my example comes from Brother Bowie. In the 18 years or so I've been around, I've seen Brother Bowie miss 2 times. And he was in the hospital one, and the other one, he was just too sick to go. Twice in all them years. And I'm marching to that same beat. I'm going to be here. There's nothing out there. There's nobody out there. There's no event out there that's going to trump my fear of God. Mm-hmm. Why? I have children. Do y'all know the Lord will come down and do some damage in your household when you go against him? And make you suffer with that damage. And then when you look in the mirror, you know that damage came in your house because of you. And I don't want to feel like that. Man, I ain't got caught up. Where we at, brother? Did we? To the next. We're finished. Okay, we finished Matthew 23. So let's go to Job 36. Job chapter 36. Practice what you preach. Yeah, it is a Barry White jam, huh? Practice what you preach. So look, brothers, if you are going to preach it and not do it, how about just refrain from preaching it? Because people are watching you. And then you could even affect people right in here when they're watching you. When so-and-so did it, I guess I can go and do it. Okay. All righty. Job 36, my brother. Let's pick it up at verse 5. 36 and 5. Go ahead and read it.
Behold, God is mighty and despiseth not any. He is mighty in strength and wisdom.
Yes, sir.
He preserveth not the life of the wicked, but giveth right to the poor.
Y'all see that? The Lord is righteous in all his works. Skip down, my brother, to verse 11. Go ahead and read.
If they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity and their years in pleasures.
Yes, sir.
But if they obey not, they shall perish by the sword.
Yes.
And they shall die without knowledge.
They gonna die how, brother?
Without knowledge.
Listen, the Lord our God is a covenant God. You enter into a covenant with him, then he know you. Okay? And then that word if popped up twice right there.
Right.
If, biggest word in this book, 2 letters, I-F. If they observe and do them things the right way, they're going to have days of prosperity and years in pleasure, okay? Go ahead and continue, brother.
Verse 13. But the hypocrites.
But the who?
The hypocrites.
The ones that talk it but won't walk it. They talk one way, walk another way. But the hypocrites, go ahead, brother.
In heart,
yes,
heap up wrath.
Yes.
They cry not when he bindeth them.
Go ahead.
They die in youth, and their life is among the unclean.
Do y'all see that? They die in their youth, and their life is among the unclean. Hey, the rest of the sinners of God. Because that's what uncleanness is, okay? So now, let's go Romans chapter 2, my brother. Romans 2, because this is plain and simple right here. This is plain and simple. Simple lesson. If you're going to talk it, just walk it. What's hard about that? What is hard about saying this is something you're supposed to do, or something you're going to do, or something you're doing, and then you don't do it? Huh? You say you going to the New Edition concert, you keep your word on that. Huh? You say you going over there, and then you go over there.
Right.
Go to the nail shop, the hair shop, go get a new suit, new outfit, do all of that. Romans 2 and verse 13. What that say, brother?
For not the hearers of the law are just before God.
It says, for not the hearers of the law are just before God. And guess what? The sayers and the singers aren't either. But who, brother?
But the doers of the law shall be justified.
But the doers of the law shall be justified. The doers. Okay? That's what we're talking about. Let's go to James chapter 1. The doers shall be justified. Because you can talk all you want, but what are you doing? And you can't be a stumbling block for somebody listening to you and watching you, and then you doing the wrong thing, being the example. Then you call somebody else to go out there to do something wrong and bring your name up. James chapter 1. James chapter 1. James chapter 1. Practice what you preach. Verse 22. Go ahead and read it.
But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only.
He said, be doers of the word, not hearers only. Go ahead, brother.
Deceiving your own selves.
Because that's what you're doing. You're not deceiving anybody else, only yourself. Now, how can you profit from deceiving yourself? How can you do that? Is that good, y'all? It's vanity. It is vanity. Let's go to 1 Peter chapter 4. 1 Peter chapter 4. 1 Peter. I'm going to slow down a little bit, y'all. 1 Peter chapter 4. 1 Peter 4. Because by the time we get out here today, brothers and sisters, you will be reminded how important it is to do the things that you preach to your neighbor, your co-worker, your fellow students, your family members. And the things that you say, observe them things yourself. Because you're calling others to look at you and say, man, I don't know if I want to go over there like that. If they like that, I don't know if I want to be a part of that. Okay? If you're talking about it, do it. 1 Peter chapter 4. Let's pick it up at verse 12, brother. 1 Peter 4 and 12. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 12. Go ahead and read it.
Beloved,
yes,
think it not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you.
So guess what, brothers? It's not strange when these trials come upon you. The trials and the tests are going to always come. They're always coming, and the Lord trying to see if you're going to pass the test. You're going to drop it right in front of you and see what you're going to do. You going to hold up your Jesus flag, or you going to hold up the flag that say, serve myself and follow the world flag? Which one you got? Which one you doing?
Jesus.
Huh? The trials are coming even when you don't think it's a trial. It's a trial. Go ahead, brother.
But rejoice, inasmuch as you are partakers of Christ's sufferings.
Yes.
That when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy.
So look, we talking about these sufferings that you come. Look, suffering ain't always what you think it is. Suffering ain't always somebody hate you. Like Jesus said, you're going to be hated of all men for my name's sake. He said that multiple times. So what about them people that everybody loves? Huh? If everybody love you, you might need to go do a sin check on yourself. All right? Because Jesus said everybody gonna hate you when you trying to do it right. Why? Because you're gonna tell them, hey man, y'all can't put this Christmas tree up in here. Huh? I'm not coming to your Christmas party at the job. I'm not doing that. So now, man, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with her? You see? And suffering is not always imposed on you by somebody else. Sometimes you have to make yourself suffer. Yeah, I might want to go over to Stanford on a Saturday afternoon at 12 noon and see Colorado play Stanford. But I'm going to have to make myself suffer and not go over there and come do what I'm supposed to do. See, sometimes you have to impose that suffering on yourself. You have to deny yourself some of these things because yourself going to try to get you killed. Do y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Your enemy is right in between these two fingertips right here. Like Brother Boy say, between your ears,
Right.
trying to get you cut off. So sometimes you have to impose the suffering on yourself. But it's not going to kill you. Just deny yourself and do what's right. What verse is that, brother?
That was the end of 13.
End of 13, skip down here 15. What did it say?
But let none of you suffer as a murderer,
Mhm.
or as a thief, or as an evildoer,
Mhm.
or as a busybody in other men's matters.
See, you don't want to suffer because you're doing wrong things. If any suffering come, you want it to be because I did what was right. That's why you want that suffering to come, if you're going to have any. Go ahead and read, brother.
Yet if any man suffer as a Christian,
Mhm.
let him not be ashamed,
That's right.
but let him glorify God on this behalf.
Go ahead.
For this time has come that judgment must begin at the house of God.
Where?
The house of God.
Judgment is going to start right here. Judgment starting right here. It's not going to start with the pimp over here. Huh? In Tenderloin. It ain't going to start with him. It's going to start right here in the house of God with the people who have heard this word go forth. They have heard it. They have read it. And some of them took some notes on it. It's going to start right there. Finish that, brother.
And if it first began at us,
Mm-hmm.
what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of God?
Yes, that's the question. That's the question. Okay, so now let's go into 1 Kings chapter 13. 1 Kings 13, let's pick it up at verse 1. 1 Kings 13 and 1. 1 Kings 13 and 1. 1 Kings 13 and 1. 1 Kings chapter 13, and let's pick it up at that first verse. And let's look at an example, because the Bible is always loaded with examples. Always got examples in here. If you don't understand something, go look for some examples. And that should straighten you out. 1 Kings 13, my brother. Pick it up at verse 1. Go ahead and read it.
And behold, there came a man of God out of Judah.
They came who?
A man of God.
A man of God out of Judah. Go ahead, brother.
By the word of the Lord unto Bethel.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeroboam stood by the altar to burn incense.
So he came by the word of the Lord. A man of God came, and he stood by this old crooked king, Jeroboam, the one who kicked the Levites out, the one who set up feast days in the 8th month. You know we don't have no feast days in the 8th month. Okay? Go ahead and read, brother.
And he cried against the altar in the word of the Lord and said, O altar, altar, thus saith the Lord, behold, a child shall be born unto the house of David, Josiah by name, and upon thee shall he offer the priests of the high places that burn incense upon thee, and men's bones shall be burnt upon thee.
And that did happen. You can go read it. When Josiah was born and then he grew up and became the king, he went and burned the bones of some false prophets and false priests, okay? That brother was a righteous brother. He was one of the three names that says David, Josiah, and Hezekiah were righteous kings. So this man of God is prophesying this, okay? Go ahead and read.
And he gave a sign the same day, saying, this is the sign which the Lord hath spoken. Behold, the altar shall be rent, and the ashes that are upon it shall be poured out.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass, when King Jeroboam heard the saying of the man of God, which had cried against the altar in Bethel, that he put forth his hand from the altar, saying, lay hold on him.
Y'all see that? Jeroboam wanted to hurt this brother. Go ahead and read. And
his hand, which he put forth against him, dried up.
So his hand dried up. Go ahead.
So that he could not pull it in again to him.
So he was about to attack. Now let's see what happens. Go ahead, brother.
The altar also was rent, and the ashes poured out from the altar, according to the sign which the man of God had given by the word of the Lord. And the king answered and said unto the man of God, entreat now the face of the Lord thy God and pray for me.
You was just getting ready to do this, brother. Now you saying, can you entreat the Lord God for me? Go ahead, brother.
That my hand may be restored me again.
Uh-huh.
And the man of God besought the Lord.
Yes.
And the king's hand was restored him again, and became as it was before.
Okay, go ahead.
And the king said unto the man of God, come home with me and refresh thyself, and I will give thee a reward.
So the king told this man of God, hey man, come on home with me, refresh yourself, and then I'll give you a reward. What did that brother say, Brother Michael?
And the man of God said unto the king, if thou wilt give me half thine house, I will not go in with thee.
He said, if you give me half of your house, I'm not going back with you. Go ahead, brother.
Neither will I eat bread nor drink water in this place.
So he said, I'm not going to eat nor drink. Why is that, brother?
For so was it charged me by the word of the Lord, saying, eat no bread, nor drink water, nor turn again by the same way that thou camest.
So he said, the Lord told him. The Lord told him. Didn't come by a third party. He said, the Lord told him, don't eat, don't drink, and don't backtrack. The Lord told the man of God that, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
That's what he said to Jeroboam. So let's skip down to verse 11 and continue.
Now there dwelt an old prophet in Bethel.
So, okay, so y'all pay attention now. First we had a man of God. Now we got this old prophet. And we know some prophets are false prophets. In fact, most of them are false prophets, okay? Most of them are. Go ahead, brother.
And his sons came and told him all the works that the man of God had done that day in Bethel. The words which he had spoken unto the king, then they told also to their father. And their father said unto them, what way went he? For his sons had seen what way the man of God went, which came from Judah.
Go ahead.
And he said unto his sons, saddle me the ass. So they saddled him the ass, and he rode thereon. And went after the man of God, and found him sitting under an oak. And he said unto him, art thou the man of God that camest from Judah? And he said, I am. So
the old prophet found out which way the man of God went. He got on his mule donkey, got on his ass, and he went on over there, right? Yep. Found the brother. And then he came up on him and asked him, are you the man of God from Judah? Go ahead and read.
Then he said unto him, come home with me and eat bread. And he said, I may not return with thee, nor go in with thee, neither will I eat bread nor drink water with thee in this place.
So let's see if he gave him the same reason he gave Jeroboam. Go ahead.
For it was said to me by the word of the Lord,
yes,
thou shalt eat no bread nor drink water there, nor turn again to go by the way that thou camest.
He told him the same thing he told the king. Go ahead, brother.
He said unto him, I am a prophet, also as thou art.
So now the prophet tells the man of God, well, look, brother, I'm a prophet just like you. Go ahead and read.
And an angel spake unto me by the word of the Lord, saying,
and he said an angel told him something to tell him. Go ahead and read.
Bring him back with thee into thine house, that he may eat bread and drink water. But he lied unto him.
So the old prophet lied to the man of God. See, if I'm going somewhere and I got direct marching orders, you understand? The only one that can change my orders is the one that gave me them orders. Huh? How am I gonna let somebody 2-3 levels under that person tell me something else? How is that? That's like a man tell his son, I need you to do X, Y, Z, right? Then a dude down the street who has a son, his son gonna come tell your son, hey man, your daddy said to do X, Y, Z. And then the son said, well, how you know that? Well, because he told my dad told me to come down here and tell you. No, partner, let me call my dad, okay? The man of God should have went back to the Lord,
right,
to see if his instructions changed. So that way he can keep on walking how he's talking and practicing what he's preaching to everybody. The Lord told me not to eat. He told me not to drink. He told me not to backtrack. Okay? What verse, brother?
We have verse 19.
Go ahead.
So he went back with him and did eat bread in his house and drank water.
He messed up. Go ahead, brother.
And it came to pass as they sat at the table that the word of the Lord came unto the prophet that brought him back.
So the word of the Lord came to the lying prophet now. Okay? The one you chose to believe over God. Go ahead, brother.
And he cried unto the man of God that came from Judah, saying, Thus saith the Lord,
Thus said the Lord, man of God. Go ahead.
for as much as thou hast disobeyed the mouth of the Lord.
Y'all see that? He said, you disobeyed God, who told you not to come back with me, who told you not to eat and drink.
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
And hast not kept the commandment which the Lord thy God commanded thee, but camest back and hast eaten bread and drunk water in the place of the which the Lord did say to thee, eat no bread and drink no water, thy carcass shall not come unto the sepulchre of thy fathers.
He said, for that, you won't even be buried with your forefathers. Your body won't even be buried because you went against the word of God and you knew better. That's how the old prophet come at him. You knew better because the Lord told you. You rehearsed it to me. You even told the king. And then I just threw a little okie doke and then you fell for it. What verse, brother?
We're at verse 24.
Go ahead and read it.
And when he was gone, a lion met him by the way and slew him, and his carcass was cast in the way.
So that lion did meet him, just like the word told that old prophet to tell him. Go ahead, brother.
And the ass stood by it.
Yeah.
The lion also stood by the carcass.
So the lion went out there and killed the man rather than killing what it always killed is the other beast. Y'all watch these Animal Planet channels. Them lions come up on a zebra, antelope, or whatever. But he killed the man because the Lord told him, kill this guy. Okay? Go ahead, brother.
And behold, men passed by and saw the carcass cast in the way, and the lion standing by the carcass. And they came and told it in the city where the old prophet dwelt.
Go ahead.
And when the prophet that brought him back from the way heard thereof, he said,
now watch what he said. He's going to publish that you disobeyed God, because that's what people do. You doing all this talking, and then the minute you walk wrong, they going to publish and tell everybody. Go ahead, brother.
It is the man of God who was disobedient unto the word of the Lord. Therefore the Lord hath delivered him unto the lion.
See, he was probably saying, see, that's what he get. Y'all know how we do. See, that's what he get. Go ahead and read.
Which hath torn him and slain him according to the word of the Lord, which he spake unto him.
And that's how it goes. So let's go to Leviticus chapter 20. Leviticus chapter 20. Because as soon as they catch you out of the way of doing something outside of what you've been saying, it's going to get published in most cases. Leviticus 20, and let's start at verse 22. Leviticus 20 and 22. And let's look at another point that we have to understand about ourselves being here on today and not running up in some church tomorrow. Go ahead, brother.
Ye shall therefore keep all my statutes.
How many of them?
All of them.
Go ahead.
And all my judgments, and do them, that the land whither I bring you to dwell therein spew you not out.
But see, we know they went in the land and they didn't do what he told them to do, and the land spew us out, and here we are by way of slave ships. Go ahead, brother.
And ye shall not walk in the manners of the nation, which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them.
Y'all know what abhorred means? The Lord said he hated them nations because they did all this abominable stuff out there. Go ahead, brother.
But I have said unto you, ye shall inherit their land, and I will give it unto you to possess it, a land that floweth with milk and honey.
Go ahead.
I am the Lord your God, which have separated you from other people.
Do we see this, brothers and sisters? The Lord say, hey, I separated you from other people. You're not like them. I separated you from those people. Let's go Romans 1:1. Romans 1:1, brother. We just want that one verse. The Lord said, hey, I separated you from these people because they do all this stuff, but you don't do that stuff. You do the stuff I'm telling you to do. Put no tooth under my child's pillow and say some little old bitty creature gonna come in here in the middle of the night and put $20 under your pillow in exchange for that tooth. Huh? We don't do that. We ain't buying no Easter basket, coloring no eggs, and going out in the grass and hiding them eggs, skipping around the dog droppings. for my child to go out there and hunt some eggs up. We don't do that. The other nations do it. Romans 1:1. What did it say, brother?
Paul, a servant of Jesus Christ, called to be an apostle, separated unto the gospel of God.
Do we see that even Paul's telling you he's separated? Like we're separated. The Lord did that. And this word separates us. Why? Because we do what it says, okay? Let's go to Colossians chapter 2. Colossians 2. And let's look at how some of these things separate us. And this is one of them places in the Bible that when you run up on your co-worker at the job and you telling them some stuff, then they'll say, well, Paul said don't let nobody judge us. Paul wasn't talking to you, sir. You don't keep Sabbath days. You don't observe feast days. You eat turtle soup and squirrel sandwiches. He wasn't talking to you. Huh? How was he talking to you? He was talking to us.
I never heard of turtle sandwich, bro.
That's because you ain't been to Louisiana. They eat turtle soup down that way. Listen, this is where they go, Colossians 2. This is one of the spots. Colossians 2, my brother. Let's pick it up at verse 6. Colossians 2 and 6. Go ahead and read it.
As ye have therefore received Christ Jesus the Lord,
Yes.
so walk ye in him.
That's what he's telling you. If you received him, walk in it. Go ahead.
Rooted and built up in him, and established in the faith.
Y'all see that? Rooted and established. Go ahead, brother.
As ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving.
Yes, sir.
Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
Hey, and they coming with worthless words and philosophy and trying to use big words. Well, you know, the Greek this and that, trying to make themselves sound intelligent. Okay, go ahead, brother.
After the tradition of men.
After the tradition of men.
After the rudiments of the world.
Y'all know what the rudiments of the world, the ways of the world, the principles of how the world look at things. It says they are going to spoil you with those things. Go ahead, brother.
And not after Christ.
Because they're two different things. If you following Christ, that doesn't match the rudiments of the world. They don't match. Okay? Skip down, hit that verse 16, brother.
Let no man therefore judge you in meat.
So now this is where they take you to this verse right here. They say, hey, man, Paul said don't let nobody judge you and me, because we'll tell them quick, hey, man, we're not eating that pork. We're not eating that catfish, nor the shrimp, or the lobster, okay? Because the books say that. Go ahead and read.
Or in drink.
Or
in respect of an holy day.
Because we do respect holy days. Go ahead, brother.
Or of the new moon, or of the Sabbath
and
days.
Today is a Sabbath. Tomorrow is a Sabbath. It's the day of atonement.
Hallelujah.
It's a holy day.
Praise God.
We respect those and we look at them. So when Paul says, don't let anybody judge you in these things, he's talking to people he has taught them these things and they believe those things, and don't let your cousin pull you back out there into the folly. That's what he's telling you. He's talking to people who believe this truth. Not people that does not. So the next time somebody take you there, then you point that out to them, okay?
Taking what Peter said about Paul.
Right, that too. So look, let's go to Acts chapter 18, because let's see if Paul is practicing what he's preaching. Because we just read what he just said right here. Don't let anybody judge you in them things, because I'm going to do those things. Acts 18, my brother, we're going to pick it up at verse 18. Acts 18 and 18. So Paul said he respect them holy days, the Sabbath days. Let's see if he's keeping them. Acts 18 and 18, my brother. 18 and 18. Go ahead and read it.
And Paul, after this, tarried there yet a good while, and then took his leave of the brethren, and sailed thence into Syria, and with him Priscilla and Aquila, having shorn his head in Centrea, for he had a vow. And he came to Ephesus and left them there. But he himself entered into the synagogue and reasoned with the Jews. When they desired him to tarry longer time with them, he consented not, but bade them farewell, saying, I must by all means keep this feast that cometh in Jerusalem.
Do we see this, brothers and sisters? This is after the death of Jesus, years after. And Paul said, I must, by all means, keep this feast that cometh to Jerusalem. Go ahead, brother.
But I will return again unto you, if God will.
Mhm.
And he sailed from Ephesus.
So now we see that Paul kept the feast. He preached the feast and he kept the feast. Okay. So now back up to that first verse in Acts 18. 18:1. What that say, brother?
After these things, Paul departed from Athens and came to Corinth.
So we still talking, Paul. Go to verse 4. What it say?
And he reasoned in the synagogue every Sabbath.
When, brother?
Every Sabbath. And persuaded the Jews and the Greeks.
So Paul is practicing what he's preaching. And we have to do that too. We have to do that, okay? So now, let's go to 1 Peter 5. We have to do that. 1 Peter 5. And let's pick it up at that first verse. 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 1. If you're talking about it, then be about it. If you're not going to be about it, it would probably be best for you just not to say anything. Just be a hypocrite in private. How about that? Just be a hypocrite all to yourself. 1 Peter chapter 5, my brother, and verse 1. Go ahead and read it.
The elders which are among you I exhort, whom am also an elder, and a witness of the sufferings of Christ, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed. Feed the flock of God which is among you.
He said, feed the flock of God which is among you. Go ahead, brother.
Taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind.
Go ahead.
Neither as being lords over God's heritage, but being examples to the flock.
Being what?
Examples to the flock.
See that? See, that's what I mentioned earlier. You have to be an example to the flock. That's why I have to be here, and I'm going to be here.
Right.
I'm too scared not to be here. Y'all think I want the Lord dropping a sword in my house over my behavior and punishing my family because of me, making my family suffer? No way.
God forbid.
And some of us are way too old to be operating like that. Y'all see this white stuff under here? Pretty soon you get tired of the Lord cutting that hole in your money bag. You get tired of watching your children suffer, and then you got to look at them and know that it's your fault. They don't know it's your fault. They just think it's just life. But you have to suffer with that guilt that you thought, said, or did something that you shouldn't have done. And the Lord dropped that sword right in your house. That's how serious this is. But if you don't fear God, you're going to do what you want to do. Yeah. And you're going to keep on doing what you want to do and keep on doing what you want to do. As soon as he gets fed up and said, okay, let me go and snatch that rug. Then what? Then his Lord have mercy. Oh, he had that mercy. He put that book in your lap. He had somebody tell you and warn you about these things. The mercy was there. You just didn't appreciate it. Huh? Where we at, Brother Michael?
That was the end of verse 3. So.
Okay, let's go to Daniel chapter 6. And let's look at something right here. Because you will be amazed at what happens when you glorify your God and do the things that he told you to do, the positive effect that you could have on somebody else when you doing it the right way. Because when you do it the wrong way, there will be consequences, and then you end up having a negative effect on somebody else. Daniel chapter 6, my brother, practice what you preach. 6 and 19. So this is when the governors and all these people got together and had the king make this decree and say you can't pray, you can't do this here. And then when all these horns play, you got to get up and worship this statue. Daniel didn't go for any of that stuff. And so when they found him going against that decree, they went and told the king. They had to put him in the lion's den. Wow. So let's see what happens after that, because the king really didn't want to do that because he he had some positive views on Daniel. Okay, so watch this, my brother. Let's go Daniel 6, and let's pick it up at 19. 6 and 19. Go ahead and read it.
Then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste unto the den of lions.
So he got up real early and went down there. Go ahead, brother.
And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God, whom thou servest, continually able to deliver thee from the lions?
So that was the question he asked. Now he said, hey, that God that you serve continually, was he able to deliver you? Go ahead and read, brother.
Then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever.
Now what else did Daniel say?
My God hath sent his angel.
Said, my God sent angels
and hath shut the lions' mouths, that they have not hurt me.
Right.
For as much as before him innocency was found in me.
And then Daniel said, the Lord did that because innocency was found in me. No wrongdoings he could put on me at the moment. That's what Daniel said. Go ahead, brother.
And also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt.
And Daniel even told the king, he said, even in your eyes, you know I've never done you no hurt. Go ahead and read, brother.
Then was the king exceeding glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den.
So the king started throwing commandments around. Okay, first of all, take Daniel out the den. Go ahead.
So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him.
No manner of hurt was found upon Daniel. Why is that, brother?
Because he believed in his God.
Y'all see that? Because he believed in God. Skip down, my brother. Hit that verse 25.
Then King Darius wrote unto all people, nations.
He wrote to who, brother Michael?
All people.
He wrote to all people. Go ahead.
Nations and languages that dwell in all the earth. Peace be multiplied unto you.
Now, this is the time that the Medes ran this planet, which today we call the Russians. And this was King Darius of the Medes. He wrote a letter to everybody. And go ahead, brother.
Verse 26. I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom, men tremble and fear before the God of Daniel.
Do y'all see that? That's the first thing he put out there. The first thing he put out there is he said, fear before that God that Daniel served. Because if you don't have that, you're wasting your time. You may as well walk right on out here right now. Go to the Walmart down Leland. Do you some little shopping and go somewhere else, stick up a bank or something. Just do whatever you're going to do. Because if you don't fear God, what you going to do, man? This is the first thing he said, is to fear Daniel's God. Go ahead, brother.
For he is the living God.
That's why he's the only one. He's the living God. Go ahead, brother.
And steadfast forever.
Yes, sir.
And his kingdom, that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be even unto the end.
Go ahead, brother.
He delivereth and rescueth.
Can your false God do that? Because
no.
Daniel's God can deliver. His kingdom is forever and shall not be destroyed. He can rescue you. This God can. Go ahead, brother.
And he worketh signs and wonders in heaven and in earth.
He works signs and wonders in heaven and in earth. Go ahead, brother.
Who hath delivered Daniel from the power of the lions.
Go ahead.
So this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius, and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian.
So Daniel sat up there with Nebuchadnezzar when the Babylonians ran everything, with Nebuchadnezzar and his son. With Darius when the Medes was running everything, and then when the Persians took over, Daniel was still sitting up there at the top. Because he believed his God, and he feared his God, and he walked like he talked. That's the key. You walk like you talk. Every door you need to go through will swing right open for you. If it's good for you. Because you might want a door that's bad for you. The Lord ain't gonna open that door. And you'll be at home talking, man, I wonder why I couldn't do this. See, what you don't know is he was protecting you from that. Because you'd have got up in there and got yourself killed. Okay? So now, let's go Matthew 5. Matthew 5. See, Daniel practiced what he preached.
He sure did.
And we have to do that. Matthew chapter 5, let's pick it up at verse 11. Matthew 5 and 11. No, he's not going to let you hit that Powerball. I know you've been praying, Lord. Oh, let me get that 890 million. You'll get that money and commit suicide with that scratch. Don't go to work tomorrow. Everything be all right.
1 million? Just one? That's a system of
Oh, Matthew 5, verse 11. Go ahead and read it, brother.
Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad,
Yes.
for great is your reward in heaven.
Y'all see that? Your reward is great. Go ahead, brother.
For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you.
Go ahead.
You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt has lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted?
Y'all see that? See, Israel, you the salt of the earth. But if you lost that salt, what good are you? If you don't have that saltiness, what good are you? If you can't be an example to anybody. If you're not going to walk according to what you talk about. What good are you? We let Jesus answer that. Go ahead, brother.
It is thenceforth good for nothing.
You good for nothing?
But to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men.
Y'all see that? He said that. Are y'all letters red? Just mine letters red. Y'all letters red. Jesus said that. You good for nothing if you don't have your saltiness. Go ahead, brother.
Ye are the light of the world.
Yes, sir.
A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid.
That's right.
Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house.
Go ahead, brother.
Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven.
Y'all see that? Look, let's go and hit 1 Timothy chapter 4, because we see right here it says that you're going to glorify your Father which is in heaven when men see your good works. Didn't the King Darius see Daniel's work and glorified the God of Daniel? Y'all see that?
Yes, sir.
See, we have to be like that. We have to make somebody want some of this. But if I'm talking, yeah, you know, you're supposed to do this and you're supposed to do that, and then they see me not doing it, and then they see me over here in Struggle City, they be like, man, look at this cat. Lord ain't blessing this dude. He's just out there running his mouth and living foul. Can't even let you borrow $10. Okay? But we saw that because when you do those things right, then your God will be glorified. Then somebody will see that and they might pull you to the side and say, can you tell me some more about what y'all doing over there, man? Can you tell me a little bit more? First Timothy 4, my brother, pick it up at verse 12. First Timothy chapter 4, verse 12. Go ahead and read it.
Let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example of the believers in word.
Y'all see that? We see it again. Be an example. Go ahead, brother.
In conversation.
Yes.
In charity, in spirit, in faith, in purity.
For how long, brother?
Till I come. Give attendance to reading, to exhortation, to doctrine.
So Paul is telling the people, until I come back over here with y'all, or with you, Timothy, he said, give attention to reading, give attention to exhortation, and to doctrine, which is just simply the words in this Bible, okay? Right. Skip on down, my brother. Hit that verse 15.
Meditate upon these things. Give thyself wholly to them.
Halfway to him.
Wholly.
He said, give yourself wholly to these things. Go ahead.
That thy profiting may appear to all.
Y'all see that? He said that your profiting will appear to everybody that's watching you. And then they'll be able to say, man, Lord is sure blessing that sister right there, because she's diligent with that thing. Y'all see that? The Lord will be blessing you for that. Go ahead, brother.
Take heed unto thyself and unto the doctrine.
Yes.
Continue in them.
He said, look, the first thing he said, take heed to yourself. Take heed to yourself. Take heed to yourself. Unto the doctrine and continue in them. Go ahead, brother.
For in doing this, thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee.
Because people are looking and watching. They are looking and they are watching. Okay. So now let's go into 2 Samuel 11 because we're getting ready to see an example of this right here. 2 Samuel chapter 11. People are looking and watching, but we're going to see at the end of this story what the priest is going to say to King David. 2 Samuel chapter 11. Okay, 2 Samuel 11. Let's start at that first verse, brother. Everybody in here should be familiar with this story, and I mean everybody. It is one of the good stories in the Bible, okay? A good teaching story. 2 Samuel chapter 11. Go ahead and read it, brother. Verse 1. Go ahead, brother.
And it came to pass after the year was expired, at the time when kings go forth to battle,
Yes.
that David sent Joab and his servants with him and all Israel. And they destroyed the children of Ammon and besieged Rabbah. But David tarried still at Jerusalem.
Now, in this particular case, David just happened to stay at home. He didn't go out with the army. Go ahead, brother.
And it came to pass in an evening too that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof, he saw a woman washing herself, and the woman was very beautiful to look upon.
Okay, so he sees this woman. She's very beautiful to look at. Go ahead and read.
And David sent and inquired after the woman. And one said, is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite?
Go ahead. So somebody let him know right out the gate, hey, man, this woman is married. Go ahead, brother.
And David sent messengers and took her. And she came in unto him, and he lay with her.
Uh-oh. Now we got a problem. Now we have us a problem. Go ahead, brother.
For she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned unto her house.
So now, number one problem he did is he coveted somebody else's wife. That's a sin right there. That's number 10 of the 10 commandments. He coveted. Then he committed another one by doing the adultery thing. So that's 2. Go ahead and read.
And the woman conceived and sent and told David and said, I am with child.
So she let David know she's carrying a baby now. Go ahead, brother.
And David sent to Joab, saying, send me Uriah the Hittite. And Joab sent Uriah to David.
Okay, so now what David got is a scheme coming now. Okay, go ahead, brother.
Verse 8.
Okay, you skip down to 8. Go ahead.
And David said to Uriah, go down to thy house and wash thy feet. And Uriah departed out of the king's house, and there followed him a mess of meat from the king. But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of his lord, and went not down to his house. And when they had told David, saying, Uriah went not down unto his house, David said unto Uriah, camest thou not from thy journey? When then didst thou not go down unto thine house? And Uriah said unto David, the ark and Israel and Judah abide in tents, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in the open fields. Shall I then go into mine house to eat and to drink and to lie with my wife? As thou livest, and as thy soul liveth, I will not do this thing.
So the brother had a noble gesture on his mind. All the rest of the brothers are out there fighting a war. So is it a good thing if I come home while everybody else is out there handling business, and I'm going to go to my house and relax and be on R&R and lay with my wife and all of this? So this is what he's saying. Go ahead and read, brother.
And David said to Uriah, tarry here today also, and tomorrow I will let thee depart.
Go ahead.
So Uriah abode in Jerusalem that day and the morrow. And when David had called him, he did eat and drink before him, and he made him drunk.
Y'all see the scheme still moving forward. Got the brother drunk. Say this for sure would get him to go home, right? Go ahead and read.
And at even, he went out to lie on his bed with the servants of his lord, but went not down to his house.
The brother still didn't go home to his wife. And now David is getting worried now. Because if this brother go back out there and then come back home later and his wife pregnant and he haven't touched her, it's going to be a problem. Go ahead and read.
What verse we on? This
14.
14. And it came to pass in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it by the hand of Uriah. And he wrote in the letter saying, set ye Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle, and retire ye from him, that he may be smitten and die.
So Uriah carried a letter to get him killed to Joab. And Joab at that time did everything David told him to do. So he say, send them out there in the hottest battle where you have the most formidable fighters of that other nation of people. Once Uriah get out there, then have everybody else withdraw back from them. And that's what happened. Go ahead and read, brother.
And it came to pass, when Joab observed the city, that he assigned Uriah unto a place where he knew that valiant men were.
Go ahead.
And the men of the city went out and fought with Joab, and there fell some of the people of the servants of David, and Uriah the Hittite died also.
So Uriah the Hittite died. Skip down to 22 and continue.
So the messenger went and came and showed David all that Joab had sent him for. And the messenger said unto David, surely the men prevailed against us, and came out unto us into the field, and we were upon them even unto the entering of the gate.
Go ahead.
And the shooters shot from off the wall upon thy servants, and some of the king's servants be dead. And thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also.
So David got that news that his plan worked. The scheme worked. Uriah the Hittite is dead. So let's go into that next chapter 12, and let's just start at verse 1. So you coveted the man's wife, then you laid with her, then you killed him. Now you're going to steal her. You schemed on it. Just stacking sins on sin.
Yeah.
And that's the trouble with sin, is easy to stack some more on top of it.
Right.
Once you get over there. Go ahead and read, brother. 12 and 1.
And the Lord sent Nathan unto David,
Mm-hmm.
and he came unto him and said unto him,
Now, Nathan is a priest of God. Go ahead.
there were two men in one city, the one rich and the other poor.
So now here comes Nathan with a parable to David. He said, you had this, you got two men in the city, one rich, one poor. Go ahead and read.
The rich man had exceeding many flocks and herds,
Go ahead.
but the poor man had nothing, save one little ewe lamb,
Mm-hmm.
which he had bought and nourished up.
Mm-hmm.
And it grew up together with him and with his children. It did eat of his own meat and drank of his own cup,
Mm-hmm.
and lay in his bosom, and was unto him as a daughter.
Man, this man had that one ewe lamb. It was like a child to the brother. Go ahead and read.
And there came a traveler unto the rich man,
Mm-hmm.
and he spared to take of his own flock and of his own herd.
So some travelers came to the rich man who had abundant flock. So instead of prepping one of them to feed the guests, he gonna go to the poor man and take that one that man loved like a child. Go ahead and read.
to dress for the wayfaring man that was come unto him, but took the poor man's lamb and dressed it for the man that was come to him.
Go ahead.
And David's anger was greatly kindled against the man.
So now while Nathan is talking to David, David's getting mad about the rich man. Go ahead and read.
And he said to Nathan, as the Lord liveth, the man that hath done this thing shall surely die.
So David said, the man that did this, I'm going to kill this guy. Go ahead and read.
And he shall restore the lamb fourfold because he did this thing. And because he had no pity.
He had what, brother?
No pity.
Had no pity. Go ahead.
And Nathan said to David,
Yeah.
thou art the man.
So Nathan told David, King David, you are that rich man. You're the man. Go ahead and read.
Thus saith the Lord God of Israel,
Mhm.
I anointed thee king over Israel.
Yes.
And I delivered thee out of the hand of Saul.
Mhm.
And I gave thee thy master's house,
Yes.
and thy master's wives into thy bosom,
Mhm.
and gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah. And if that had been too little, I would moreover have given unto thee such and such things.
So the Lord is making sure David understand, I gave you all this stuff. I could have given you many more things. Go ahead and read.
Wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of the Lord to do evil in his sight?
So now that's the question that Nathan is asking David. Why did you, David, despise the commandment of the Lord to do what in his sight, brother?
Evil.
To do evil in his sight. Go ahead.
Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and hast taken his wife to be thy wife,
Yes.
and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon.
Go ahead, brother.
Now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house.
Y'all see how the Lord can drop the sword in your house? And when he dropped it in David's house, he dropped it in there. He dropped that sword in David's house. Go ahead and finish that verse, brother.
Because thou hast despised me,
And
and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife.
he dropped that sword in David's house. He put this humbuggish thing on his son Abnon, because David had children by multiple women. So by this one woman, he had a son, Abnon. Abnon wanted to lay with his sister who had a different mother. End up raping the sister.
Crazy.
And then her other brother, who they got the same mom and dad, Absalom waited 2 years, threw the party, got Absalom drunk, and they had all his partners. He said, when he get drunk, fall on him with that sword. And they killed him. Y'all think that didn't hurt David? One of his sons killed one of his other sons, and then that son raped his daughter. Y'all see that, how David did wrong, and the Lord dropped that sword in his house and made him suffer. Now, if you think God retired from operating like that, you mistaken. He'll still drop a sword in your house, and people in your house will still suffer, and he'll make you watch the suffering. And then you, by way, suffer. You think he won't do that right now in 2024? He will do it. He'll do it. He dropped that sword in David's house, y'all. And he'll drop it. I see houses today with the sword in there. Sword in that house. And I know y'all know some houses where the sword is moving through that joint. You know some. Hey, skip down, my brother. Hit that verse 16. What that say?
14.
I mean, 14. What did it say?
Howbeit, because by this deed thou hast given great occasion to the enemies of the Lord to blaspheme.
Y'all see that? So the priest told David, he said, by you doing this, you have given the enemies of the Lord occasion to blaspheme the Lord. Because you talking something, and then you went against something you talk. And you wonder why your next door neighbor won't come here with you. Because they listening to you, but they peeping through the blind and they watching you. Huh? Y'all know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You talking, but they watching you. Like, oh, man, he playing. You playing, man. You ain't serious. And you want me to come over there with you. Finish that verse, brother.
The child also that is born unto thee shall surely die.
And did the Lord kill that baby? He definitely killed that baby. So look, let's go and hit Romans 14. Romans 14, because this is what you have to be careful not to do right here. Romans 14. This is what you should not be caught doing, which is the same thing Nathan told David that he had done by doing this deed. Okay? Romans chapter 14, my brother, verse 16. What that say?
Let not then your good be evil spoken of.
Don't let your good be evil spoken of, because you could do 20,000 good deeds, and the minute you do that one thing, that's all they gonna talk about. Just like the prophet did with the man of God who came to see Jeroboam. He said, hey, that man dead. Lion killed him in a way because he disobeyed the word of the Lord. And that's all they remember them by. He probably was a super duper good brother all up to that one point. They're going to talk about that, okay? So now, let's go Luke chapter 6 real quick. Luke 6. Because, like I said, hey, your neighbor watching through the blinds, they're watching you now. You may believe that they're not watching, but they're watching. They're watching you. Because I'm telling you, if you go stand in front of your house and spin real quick, you'll see them blinds close. Just spin around real quick, them blinds gonna drop close. Because they watching you, because you talking. And the things you're talking, they don't want to do that. They don't want to give up these worldly things and come over there with you. So what are they going to do? They're going to watch you do worldly things, so you'll be their excuse not to come over here. Luke 6:41, my brother, 6:41. Go ahead and read that.
And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but perceivest not the beam that is in thine own eye?
Y'all know what a mote is? Like a little particle of dust. Little particle of dust. So your neighbor got a little particle of dust in their eye, and you telling them, hey man, you need to take care of that mold in your eye. But you got y'all know what a beam is? This a beam. Y'all know what I'm saying? This could be a beam. You got this in your eye, and you won't clean that up, and you telling your neighbor, hey man, you got a little piece of dust on you. Your neighbor gonna say, man, you need to go get that broom and put it in front of your own doorstep. You go clean yours off, and then I'll clean mine. But you got to get yours in order first. That's what we saying. Did we finish that, brother?
End of 41.
Go ahead.
Verse 42. Either how canst thou say to thy brother, brother, let me pull out the mote that is in thine eye, when thou thyself beholdest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite.
Thou what?
Hypocrite. Cast out first the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to pull out the mote that is in thy brother's eye.
It's like you out here burning folks' houses down there, and I drop a potato chip bag in their yard. You say, hey man, you ain't supposed to be dropping potato chip bag. Well, man, you burning folks' houses down. Won't you stop setting the house on fire, then I'll pick up this bag of Cheetos. But that's what we have to do. We have to get our own house in order and practice the things that we talk about, the things that we say we believe, okay? Let's go to Psalm 18, the 18th Psalm. That's why this lesson was titled, Practice What You Preaching. Practice what you preach. 18th Psalm. 18th Psalm, verse 1. Practice what you preach. Because when you talking it and you not doing it, you're the laughing stock when you're not around. They joking about you. Psalm 18:1, brother. Go ahead and read it.
I will love thee, O Lord, my strength.
Yes.
The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer.
He said, the Lord is my fortress and my deliverer. Go ahead.
My God, my strength in whom I will trust.
Yes.
My buckler and the horn of my salvation and my high tower.
Yes.
I will call upon the Lord who is worthy to be praised.
Yes.
So shall I be saved from mine enemies.
So look, when you trust the Lord, he'll save you from your enemies. Because we have enemies. Do you want to be saved from them? But you have to trust in your God and not in yourself. Too many of us trust in self too much. You trust in your little cousin. You trust in everybody. Little Vice Grip and little Charles. Man, you better trust in your God and call him. He will deal with your manager at the job. Mr. Turner ain't nothing compared to the Lord. The Lord God will deal with them. He will deal with them. So shall I be saved from mine enemies. Why? Because I trust in my God. Okay. Let's go to 1 John chapter 4. 1 John chapter 4, way in the back of the Bible. Think that supervisor got something on God? Not. 1 John chapter 4. We got about 7 more spots after this, and we almost done. Give y'all some hope. Give y'all a little hope. Okay. 1 John chapter 4, Brother Michael, verse 20. Verse 20. Go ahead and read it.
If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother,
yes,
he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen, how can he love God whom he hath not seen?
Do y'all see this? Do y'all see this? It says, basically, you can't say you love God and you hate a brother or a sister. How you gonna hate somebody talk about you love God? If that ain't being a hypocrite, what is? Huh?
Right.
Go ahead and read.
And this commandment have we from him.
Wait a minute, this is a what?
Commandment.
A commandment. This is a commandment. What is it, brother?
That he who loveth God,
that the one that loves God,
love his brother also.
Love your brother also. That's a commandment from our God, brothers and sisters. How you gonna hate somebody and say you love God? That does not go together. That doesn't go together, does it? No way. So now, let's go into Revelation chapter 3. We're going to pick it up at verse 15. Revelations 3 and 15. 3 and 15. Revelations chapter 3, my brother. Let's pick it up at verse 15. And let's look at this, because we read earlier that you can deceive yourself. You can be out here deceiving yourself. Revelations chapter 3, and let's pick it up at verse 15. Revelations 3 and 15. Revelations chapter 3 and 15. Revelations 3 and 15. Go ahead and read it.
I know thy works,
Mm-hmm.
that thou art neither cold nor hot.
Mm-hmm.
I would thou wert cold or hot.
So the Lord said, hey, I wish you was either cold or hot. Cold or hot. Why is that, brother?
So then because thou art lukewarm,
Because you are lukewarm.
and neither cold nor hot,
Uh-huh.
I will spew thee out of my mouth.
Y'all know what the lukewarmers are? The straddlers of the fence. Huh? You straddle the fence.
Mm-hmm.
You do a little bit of this, and then over here, you don't mind that. You don't do any of that. You straddling the fence. The Lord said, I will spew you out. Go ahead and read, brother.
Because thou sayest, I am rich,
Because you say, hey, man, I'm rich. Go ahead.
and increased with goods,
Yeah.
and have need of nothing.
And I have need of nothing. I got everything I want to need. Go ahead and read.
And knowest not that thou art wretched.
But you don't even know that you are wretched
and miserable,
and miserable
and poor,
and blind
and naked.
And you don't even know it. You out there naked, think you got clothes on. But I'm talking spiritually. But you don't even know that's you. Go ahead and read, brother.
I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire.
He said, I counsel you to buy of me, of the Lord, some gold tried in the fire. Go ahead, brother.
That thou mayest be rich in white raiment.
Yes, sir.
That thou mayest be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear.
Go ahead.
And anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see.
And anoint your eyes with some eye salve, that you will see that you are miserable and naked. Because you don't even see that you are. Go ahead and read.
As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten.
So if the Lord love you when you go wrong, he's going to drop down and do a little something for you just to get you back in line. Go ahead and read.
Be zealous, therefore, and repent.
He said, be zealous, therefore, and repent. That means change your ways. Repent just means change your ways. Don't mean I'm feeling sorry for something I did, because you can feel sorry Friday and come back Tuesday and do it all over again. Right. You got to change your ways. You have to say, I can't do that anymore. Or I have to start doing this from now on. Repent is an action word, brothers and sisters. Don't be deceived, okay? So now let's go Luke 11. Luke 11. Luke chapter 11. And look at what Jesus said right here. Luke chapter 11. Let's start at verse 23. Luke 11 and 23. Luke 11 and 23. Go ahead and read it, brother.
He that is not with me is against me.
So Jesus said, if you're not with him, you against him. Go ahead.
And he that gathereth not with me scattereth.
If you're not helping him gather, you can only be doing something else. That's scattering the people. Go ahead and read.
When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest. And finding none, he saith, I will return unto my house whence I came out. And when he cometh, he findeth it swept and garnished.
Go ahead.
Then goeth he and taketh to him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter in and dwell there.
So watch this, brothers and sisters. You clean your house up. You start walking in the truth of this word. That unclean spirit that took residence with you, you done put him out. Then somewhere down the road, you let him come back home. Was he trying to come back with you? And you let him come back in. The problem is, when he comes back, he doesn't come alone. He brings 7 more. So now there are 8 of them in your ear. Hey, brother, go ahead and do that, man. The Lord's going to be okay with you. this one time. You just do it one time. It's okay. So now you got 8 of them persuading you. How you going to fight off 8 unclean spirits? How can you do that? They will jump on you and have you into all kind of stuff, desiring all kinds of unsavory things, because you let one come back home and he brought 7 more. Did the verse say they were worse than him? Read that verse over, brother. What verse is that?
That was 26. Yes.
Read that verse again.
Then goeth he and taketh to him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself.
So when he come back, he's bringing 7 more wicked than him. Go ahead, brother.
And they enter in and dwell there.
Mm-hmm.
And the last state of that man is worse than the first.
To the last state of that person is worse than his first state. Go ahead, brother.
And it came to pass, as he spake these things, a certain woman of the company lifted up her voice and said unto him,
mm-hmm.
Blessed is the womb that bare thee.
You see that? She said, jumping up, speaking out of turn. She jumped up and spoke out of turn. Blessed is the womb that bare thee, O Jesus. What did he say, brother?
And the paps which thou hast sucked.
What did he say, though?
But he said, yea, rather, blessed are they that hear the word of God and keep it.
He said, rather, blessed are the ones that hear the word of God and keep that word of God. Y'all see that? That's who's blessed. The one that hear that word and keep that word. That's who the blessed ones are, okay? Let's go Matthew 15. We just got 4 more spots after this. Matthew chapter 15. Let's pick it up at verse 1. 15 and 1. Nah, blessed is the one that hear the word and keep that word. That's the blessed person. Matthew 15 and verse 1. 15 and verse 1. Practice, brothers and sisters, what you preach. And God is not no micromanager. He ain't gonna make you do right. He put life and death in front of you, and good and evil. You just have to choose yourself which one you want. Every day, all day. You have to do that. Go ahead and read, brother. Matthew 15 and 1. Go ahead.
Then came Jesus, scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, Why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders?
Mm-hmm.
For they wash not their hands when they eat bread.
See, to me, this is an example of you got a beam in your eye and you coming to me about a mote over here. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They say, hey, man, why do your disciples transgress the traditions of the elders? Go ahead, brother.
But he answered and said unto them, Why do ye also transgress the commandment of God by your tradition?
And everybody be saying, hey, man, when you say something that appear to be a smart comment to somebody, well, that wasn't no godly way to handle it. Man, Jesus always came like that. Did he answer their question? He didn't answer their question. He hit them with a question. They say, hey, why do your disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? He say, why do y'all break the commandments of God with your traditions? Jeez. Then I've seen sometimes where he'll say, I'll answer your question if you answer this one. And then they didn't answer his question. He said, well, I'm not going to answer yours. I've seen him do that. But go ahead, brother. Go ahead and read.
For God commanded, saying, Honor thy father and mother. And he that curseth father or mother, let him die the death.
He said, now this is what God said. Honor your mother and your father. Go ahead and read, brother.
But ye say.
He said, but however, this is what you say. You say something different. Go ahead, brother.
Whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, it is a gift by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me. And honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free.
He says, so look, if you provide and take care of your mom and dad, that okay you to dishonor them and disrespect them. That's what y'all say. Go ahead and read.
Thus have ye made the commandment of God of none effect by your tradition.
And you have made the commandment of God of none effect. Just like Nathan told David, you gave the enemies of the Lord to blaspheme. And just like we read what Paul wrote, don't let your good work be evil spoken of. Because here you go. You putting some bad stuff on the table. Go ahead and read, brother.
Ye hypocrites.
You hypocrites.
Well did Isaiah prophesy of you,
He
saying,
said, Isaiah said this real good about y'all. What did he say, brother?
this people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth.
He said, this people draw close to the Lord, running their mouth, bumping their gums. Go ahead, brother.
And honoreth me with their lips.
And they honor him with their lips. Go ahead.
But their heart is far from me.
But your mind is far from the Lord, you hypocrite, because you talking some talk, but you not walking it. You're a hypocrite. So now, let's go Titus 1. Then we just have 3 more spots. Titus 1. I hope everybody been getting their mind right for the Day of Atonement tomorrow that comes in this evening. Hope y'all been hydrating and thinking about things. Okay. Titus chapter 1, my brother. Let's pick it up at verse 10. Titus 1 and 10. Titus chapter 1 and verse 10. Is my mic on, y'all? It is. It's coming out the speaker. Okay. All right. Thank you. Titus 1 and 10. Go ahead and read it.
For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? Go ahead and read.
Whose mouths must be stopped.
They mouths, what, brother?
Must be stopped.
Go ahead.
Who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not, for filthy lucre's sake.
They do it for money. Them churches tomorrow, they doing it for the money. It's like if a dude live in Fairfield, he got a Sunday church here in Pittsburgh. It's like a corner store to the brother. He gonna come over here, get all your money, and go back home to Fairfield. Ain't taught you nothing. And the Lord told you, why spend your money for that which is not bread? You gonna get that false prophet all your money. He ain't gonna teach you nothing. They doing it for filthy lucre's sake.
Yeah.
That's the only reason they do it. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 16. They profess that they know God.
Yeah, this is verse 16. Go ahead.
But in works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate.
Y'all see that, brothers and sisters? It says they profess that they know him, but in works they deny him. Why? Because they're wretched, miserable, poor, blind, and naked. They say they know him, but you can just watch them and tell that they don't. Okay? So now, let's go Proverbs chapter 3. Proverbs 3. Miserable, wretched, poor, and naked. Oh, yeah, I know the Lord. Yes, I know him. Don't look like. Not with that grilled pork chop sandwich with the shrimp poured on it. Don't look like you know him to me. Huh? Don't look like you know him to me with the shrimp po' boy. Proverbs 3 and 1. Go ahead and read it, brother.
My son, forget not my law.
Yes.
But let thine heart keep my commandments.
Go ahead.
For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine heart. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man.
Ooh, do y'all see that? Don't we need some of that?
Yes, sir.
We need some of that to find favor in the eyes of God and man.
Yes.
Y'all don't want some of that? Practicing what you preaching will get you some of that. Practicing what you preaching will get you favor in the sight of God and man. Somebody's phone ringing. Man, we got to start from the beginning. Let's go back to Luke 11. We starting over from the top. No, I'm just. But look, y'all, practice what you preach. Do what this book tells you, and you will get favor in the eyesight of God and your fellow man. You need to go through that door, the door opens. A document you need out of there, you get that document. Y'all hear what I'm saying? You need to make this much at your job to sustain life. You'll make that much money at your job to sustain life. Whatever it is you need The Lord got it covered. With the big 2-letter word standing in between you and him. If you do what I'm telling you to do. Now, if you're going to keep on making excuses why you don't have to, then hey, whatever. So look, Proverbs, what verse we at, brother?
That was the end of 4.
Man, y'all see that verse, how sweet that verse 4 is?
Sure was.
Verse 3 and 4. Man, you know what? Start at 3 again, brother. We got to hit that one more time. Go ahead.
Let not mercy and truth forsake thee.
Mm-hmm.
Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine heart.
Yes.
So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man.
Go ahead, brother.
Trust in the Lord with all thine heart,
Mm-hmm.
and lean not unto thine own understanding.
See, we got to stop doing that. You got to stop leaning to your own understanding because it's substandard and it can't reach to God's understanding. We have to stop doing that. We got to get more spiritual than what we are.
Facts.
Because you might be thinking you making a move that's going to put you in a better spot. But if you cross God, it looked like you took 2 steps forward, but you really took 5 backwards. You really took 5 back, and you might have to do that same thing. You got to do more of that now because you crossed your God. Come on, people. Practice what you know. Practice what you've been taught. Practice what you can read, and then practice what come out of your mouth. If you're going to tell your neighbor to do it, then you do it. That's all this is. What verse, brother?
Verse 6.
I'm going to tell y'all something. Take this Proverbs 3 home with you today, okay? If you don't put nothing in your chest pocket today, you put this Proverbs 3 in there. Go ahead, brother.
In all thy ways, acknowledge him.
In some of your ways, brother.
All of them.
In everything you do, acknowledge the Lord God. Go ahead, brother.
And he shall direct thy paths.
Go ahead.
Be not wise in thine own eyes.
Yeah, we can't be wise in our own eyes. Go ahead, brother.
Fear the Lord.
Fear the Lord.
And depart from evil.
And depart from evil. Go ahead.
It shall be health to thy navel.
Yes, sir.
And marrow to thy bones.
Hey, listen, they got some health issues out here where you need to get a bone marrow transplant. Don't they? What they call that condition? Anybody know? But it says, hey, fear the Lord and depart from evil, and that right there in itself shall be health to your navel and marrow to your bones. Okay? So now, let's go Deuteronomy 10, and then we just got one more spot after that. But it says right here, don't be wise in your own eyes, but do what? Fear the Lord. Fear the Lord, fear the Lord, fear the Lord. You need that. You got to have that. Deuteronomy chapter 10, my brother. Deuteronomy, is that 10, brother Mike?
Yep.
Deuteronomy 10, and let's pick it up at verse 12. And let's go get some simplicity right here. But we just read in that proverb where Solomon say, fear the Lord. That's got to be a major component of what you operate with. Right. But let's go see. Deuteronomy 10, verse 12. Go ahead and read it.
And now, Israel, what does the Lord thy God require of thee?
See, it says, what's the question? What does he require of you? Let's go see what's required. Let's see what's required, my brother. Go ahead.
But to fear the Lord thy God.
To do what's the first thing he gave you?
Fear the Lord.
And guess what? If you don't have that one, you won't have the rest of them. If you don't have that one, you can forget about the other 4. If you don't have it, you're gonna lose the other 4.
Right.
Go ahead and read, brother.
To walk in all his ways.
To walk in all his ways. Go ahead.
And to love him.
And to love him. That's 3. Go ahead.
And to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart.
And to serve him with all of your heart and mind. That's 4. Go ahead.
And with all thy soul.
And even with your body. Them the 5 requirements right there. But if you don't have one, you're going to miss the other 4. The Lord said, fear of the Lord is his treasure. Fear of the Lord is the perfecting of holiness. And fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge and wisdom. So if you don't have the fear, what do you have? Nothing. So he listed the 5 right there. So did we finish that, brother?
No, we did not.
Go ahead and read.
He got some more.
Well, that was the end of.
That was the end of 12.
Go ahead and read.
To keep the commandments of the Lord
Mhm.
and his statutes,
Yes.
which I command thee this day for thy good.
Skip down to 16.
Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart,
Mhm.
and be no more stiff-necked.
Don't be stiff-necked anymore. Stop rejecting and fighting. Go ahead.
For the Lord your God is God of gods,
Yes, sir.
and Lord of lords, a
Mhm.
great God, a mighty and a terrible.
See, that's that word terrible right there. See, that's why you need to fear him, because he's great and he's also terrible. He can swing that sickle too. He can swing that hammer too. Y'all know what a sickle is? Y'all know that big thing that the images of the Grim Reaper, he got this tall thing with this big curvy blade on that thing. The Lord swing that sickle too. And you need to be scared of him. That's what's going to keep you right with him. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 17, for the Lord your God is God of gods and Lord of lords,
Yes.
a great God, a mighty and a terrible, which regardeth not persons, nor taketh reward.
Hey, look, you can't pay him off and not bust your head. And guess what? He don't regard persons. The book tell you he is not a respecter of persons. That grandmama that you had that prayed all the time, hey, she can't even keep him off you. Well, you know, that's Elizabeth's grandson. So he sinned against me, head busting. There it is. Skip down, my brother. Hit that verse 20. What did it say?
Thou shalt fear the Lord thy God,
Mm-hmm.
him shalt thou serve, and to him shalt thou cleave and swear by his name.
We keep on hearing that word fear. We keep hearing it all through the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament. So let's go into Matthew 19. This is our last spot. Because the 5 requirements are to fear the Lord, to walk in all his ways, to love him, to serve him with your mind, and to serve him with your body, which the book tell you that is your reasonable service to him. That's a reasonable service. Being that you made out of dirt and water. Matthew 9, and let's pick 19. 19, and let's pick it up at 27. 19 and 27, my brother. Go ahead and read that.
Then answered Peter and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore?
So Peter said to Jesus, we have forsaken everything. He said all, didn't he?
He did.
He said, and we have followed you. So what are we going to get for that? Go ahead and read, brother.
And Jesus said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones,
yes,
judging the 12 tribes of Israel.
So what else did Jesus say for us today? Go ahead.
And everyone that hath forsaken houses.
So to everybody else, if you forsake houses, you don't put that before me, go ahead.
Or brethren, or sisters, or father or mother.
If you don't put your family before me, go ahead.
Or wife or children, or lands or for my name's sake.
Or your properties. If you have forsaken all these things for my name's sake, go ahead and read.
Shall receive an hundredfold.
Shall receive what?
An hundredfold.
Can y'all imagine what a hundredfold is from what you have right now? Where you sitting right now? What a hundredfold is for that? Can you? What if I have $2,000 in my pocket? What's a hundredfold of that?
It's 200,000.
Man, what you saying? Or if you got 3 cars or 3 houses, what's
300 cars
on that? What if you have peace? What's a hundredfold of peace?
Everlasting
tranquility. Huh? Just think about that.
A hundredfold of peace?
Yeah. But the Lord said, hey, but you have to put me before everything. That's all he's saying right here. He didn't say hate your mother. He just saying I have to come before her, before him, before everybody. That's all he's saying. And that ain't hard for me. What verse was that, brother?
We still at verse 29.
Start 29 over, brother. Go ahead and read it.
And everyone that had forsaken houses or
Mhm.
brethren or
Mhm.
sisters or father or mother or wife or children or
Mhm.
lands for my name's sake shall receive an hundredfold
And hundredfold, and what else?
and shall inherit everlasting
And
life.
you shall inherit everlasting life. Those letters was read. That was Jesus talking. And this was a simple lesson, brothers and sisters, and just a simple reminder that whatever we're out here telling people, we have to be doing it ourselves. Otherwise, you could be guilty of turning somebody away. Okay? And I hope somebody was edified with today's lesson, and I thank you for your time.